Hello, and welcome to the session on rounding numbers to a desired significant figure. The three things that we are going to learn in this lesson are, first, we will understand what are significant figures. Okay, how are they different from place value? Second, we'll learn how do we round numbers and decimals to a desired number of significant figures. And finally, we'll understand how do we estimate the value of a calculation using this concept of significant figures. Let's get started then. Before we begin, I'll show you a newspaper. You need to have a good look at the newspaper and figure out what's special or unique about this newspaper. Okay, here's your newspaper. Now, what can you see? What is unique about this newspaper? You may pause the video at this moment if you want and think through. Do you realize there's something special about the newspaper? Especially if you focus on the values, the numbers that are given in the newspaper. Yes, right? If you look at this, they are way too accurate. Okay, if you look at the profits made by the airline, it says $2,456,324. Now, who gives that answer till the last digit? Right? The same is the case when converted into pounds. 1,291 people, 9,142 feet, right? A deal worth, okay, 112,362,474. Last digit. So if you look at it, you will never find such values in the newspaper, right? Usually, the values in the newspapers are rounded. So airlines made a profit of about $2 million or about 1,300 people, around 9,000 feet, and so on, right? We have rounding numbers. Now, these have been rounded to significant figures, right? And that's what our topic for the lesson is, significant figures. Now, what are significant figures is the big question, right? So let us understand the concept of significant figures. So the first significant figure of any number is the first non-zero digit from the left. Make a note of that. The first significant figure of any number is the first non-zero digit from the left. For example, if we have this number 67,028, which is the first non-zero digit from the left. If you look at from the left, the first non-zero digit is 6. So that becomes your first significant digit. Now, once you have found out the first significant digit, it's easy to find the rest of the significant digit. So after the first significant digit, every subsequent digit, including 0, represents the subsequent significant figure. What does that mean? The digit after 6 is 7. So 7 is your second significant figure. The digit after 7 is 0. So 0 becomes your third significant figure. So mind you, after you have found the first significant figure, even zeros become significant figure. It's only in case of the first significant figure, you cannot have 0. Okay, you need to ignore all the zeros from the left. You have to hit upon the first non-zero digit to find the first significant figure. But once you have found out the first significant figure, all other digits are significant in that order. Okay, so the digit after the first significant figure becomes the second significant figure. After that is the third significant figure, even though it is 0 in this case. The fourth significant figure is the 2, and the fifth significant figure is the 8 in this number. Let's take one more example. Let's take a decimal number, 0.01602, which is the first significant figure. As it says, the first significant figure is the first non-zero digit from the left. So first digit from the left is 0, then we have a decimal, then we have one more 0. So these two zeros cannot be considered as the first significant figure. The first significant figure then will be 1, right? Because that's the first non-zero digit from the left. But after 1, all other digits will be significant in that order, which means 6 will be the second significant figure, the 0 will be the third significant figure, and 2 will be the fourth significant figure. I hope you understood the concept of significant figures. So only in case of the first significant figure, you have to ignore any 0 in the beginning, okay? Once you've got the first significant figure, all the other digits will be significant. Well, now the question is, how do we round numbers to a desired significant figure? Now, the good thing is this is similar to rounding numbers to a given number of place values. So in case you have not seen that video, my suggestion is you go and see that video, because then rounding numbers to significant figures would make much more sense to you. Okay, it's on the same lines. So let's say if you were to round 6054 to two significant figure, all we need to do is first write the numbers as it is, 6054. Because we are rounding to two significant figure, we underline the second significant figure. So which is the second significant figure in this number? As you know, 6 is the first significant figure because that's the first non-zero digit from the left. So the second significant figure will be 0. So we underline 0. The digits preceding that underlined digit will be written as it is. Remember, it's the same rule as rounding numbers to a desired number of place value. So you write all the digits before that underlined digit as it is. So 6 goes in as it is. The digits after 0 will be replaced by zeros. Okay, the digit after the one which you underline will each be replaced by 0. So 5 and 4 will be replaced by zeros. The call on that underlined digit 0 will be taken on the basis of the digit which is following 0. In this case, the digit following 0 is 5. And because it is 5 or more, we'll increase the 0 by 1. Had it been less than 5, would have kept 0 as it is. Okay, but because in this case it is 5, we'll increase the 0 by 1, which is 1 itself. So the correct answer is 6100, which means 6054 rounded to two significant figures is 6100. Well, let's take one more example, but in this case, let's take a decimal example. So how do we round 0.00362 to one significant figure? Let's first write the number as it is, 0.00362. And because we need to round to one significant figure, we'll first underline the first significant figure. So which is the first significant figure in this? Well, as you know, to find out the first significant figure, we need to ignore the zeros, if any. So from the left, I see that there are 3 zeros. So we have to ignore that. The first non-zero digit is 3 from the left. So that's your first significant figure. So we have underlined that. Let's follow the rules then. The digits before the underlined digit, which are the 3 zeros, will go in as it is. So 0.00 will go in as it is. What happens to the digits which follow 3? In case of decimal numbers, remember, we need to ignore these digits. So 6 and 2 will be ignored. You don't have to do anything about them. Don't write them. Don't replace them with 0 either. Okay, you just ignore them. Remember that in case of decimal, this is what is different. Okay, in case of integers, we replace the digits following the underlined digit by zeros. But in case of decimals, we ignore those digits, the digits which follow the underlined digit. Finally, let's take a call on the 3 itself. That depends on the digit which follows 3. In our case, it is 6. Because 6 is more than 5, we need to increase 3 by 1. So we'll get 4. So the number 0.00362 rounded to one significant figure is 0.004. Well, let's also consider the special case in this rounding, wherein the underlying digit is 9 and the digit following that is more than 5 or 5 or more. Okay, let's take that example. So 2596, you need to round it to three significant figures. So we'll write the same number as it is, 2596. Which is the third significant figure? Well, as you know, the first significant figure is 2, the second one is 5, so the third significant figure will be 9. 9. So let's underline 9. The digits before 9, because this is not a decimal number, so digits before 9 will be written as it is. So 2 and 5 will be written as it is. The digit after 9, in this case 6, will be replaced by a 0 because this is an integer number. It's not a decimal number. So the 6 will be replaced by a 0. Well, what happens to 9 then? Because 9 is followed by a 6, which is a number more than 5, we'll have to increase 9 by 1 to make it 10. Of 10, we write the 0 in place of 9 and carry over 1 to the preceding digit, which is 5. And 1 plus 5 is 6, so we get 2600. So 2596 rounded to 3 significant figures will be 2600. Right? These rules are similar to rounding numbers to place value. Finally, let's understand how do we estimate value of any calculation using this concept of rounding numbers to significant figures. So let's take a calculation. To estimate the value of any calculation, we need to round every number in the calculation to one significant figure. Okay, now remember this as a thumb rule. To estimate the value of any calculation, you need to round every number in the calculation to one significant figure. Here's the example. Estimate the value of the following calculation. 5.4 multiplied by 98. As per the rule, we need to round each of these numbers to one significant figure. So 5.4. 5 is the first significant figure. The number next to 5 is 4, which is less than 5. So 5.4 rounded to one significant figure will be 5. 98. Okay, let's round 98 to one significant figure. The first significant figure is 9, and the digit following 9 is 8, which is more than 5, right? So 9 will be rounded to 10, and 8 will be replaced by a 0, remember? So 98 when rounded to one significant figure will end up being 100. So the estimate for the following calculation will be 5 multiplied by 100, which is 500. Right? So you round every number in the calculation to one significant figure. Okay, let's take one more example. How about this one? Estimate the value of the following calculation. 68 multiplied by 446 divided by 198. So let's go one by one. We need to round each of these three numbers to one significant figure. Remember that. 68. 6 is the first significant figure, and 8 is the digit following that, which is more than 5. So 6 will be rounded to 7 and 8 will be replaced by 0. So 68 rounded to one significant figure is 70. How about 446? Well, 4 is the first significant figure, and the digit following 4 is 4, which is less than 5. So 4 will be written as it is, and the 4 and the 6 following that will be replaced by 0. So 446 rounded to one significant figure will be 400. Finally, let's round 198 to one significant figure. 1 is the first significant figure, and the digit following 1 is 9. So 1 will be rounded to 2. It has to be increased by 1, remember? So it will be 2. And we replace 9 and 8 by zeros. So it will be 200. Well, so the final calculation will be 70 multiplied by 400 divided by 200. As you can see, 200 goes into 400 two times. So you can cancel that to make it 2 times. And your final answer will then be 70 multiplied by 2, which is 140. So this is how we estimate the value of any calculation. The thumb rule is simple. You need to round every number in the calculation to one significant figure. Well, that's the end of this session on rounding numbers to a desired number of significant figures. The three things that we learned is, First, we understood the knowledge about significant figures and what are they. Secondly, we understood how do we round numbers, integers and decimals both, to a desired number of significant figures. And finally, we also learned how do we estimate the value of any calculation using this knowledge about rounding numbers to significant figures. I hope you understood the concepts that you learned in this lesson. Thank you.